Sunday, April 15th, 2018, Monaco 64, home of alternative economics and contrarian views. So it's almost 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Today I played some golf. Actually, I played with a friend of mine. We won a competition last year at our club called the Daily Mail Foursomes. The newspaper, they sponsor this competition. And foursomes basically is when, let's say, I tee off on the first hole and then my partner hits the second shot and we alternate shots. I think Americans call it alternate shot. And then on the second hole, he tees off. And we won the competition at our club. So we got to play this year against the winners in other clubs in England. We won our first round about a month ago. And unfortunately, we lost the second round. And it was ironic because I went back to my old club. We drew my old golf club and we played against them. We had to give them quite a few shots, but we didn't play very well. But that's what it's all about. Afterwards, we had a drink with the guys at the golf club and we met new people. And that's what is important about golf. It's only a game and you meet people and you have a good time. Of course, I don't like losing, but you can't win them all. Even Jack Nicklaus, the golfer who's won the most majors, 18 major championships, he finished second most, I think 19 times. So he's finished second more than anyone else. So back to outside my golf. Billy's asleep again. What I wanted to talk about this afternoon, I'm not going to talk about YouTube anymore. You know, it can get a little bit too much, but it is what it is. I'm just going to keep doing my videos. I'm getting a lot more views on my videos, more subscribers. So that's what it's all about. But what I want to talk about today is how can we defeat the powers that be, or the one percenters, the people who run the world. I think it's very difficult, but at least we can each do our own bit individually. And because if we don't play their game, they can't affect us. And I think one of the biggest things is my dad always used to say that money doesn't grow on trees and that you can't get, there's no such thing as a free lunch. So those are, for me, the most important tenets about how to lead your life. Hard work, and doing something that's productive, not living beyond your means, and not buying into the rubbish that we hear so much from the mainstream media, from governments. I mean, governments, all they want is to tax you, send your children to war so that they can make millions, so they can line the pockets of the people who support them. That's all it is. So unfortunately, you go back thousands of years, human nature doesn't seem to change. Of course, there's always people like you guys who watch me or me who know what the deal is. But maybe through my videos, I'm able to reach a few more people that probably wouldn't have been reached. And that's what I'm here for. So I want to talk a little bit now about Alan Greenspan. And many of you would say, wow, he's a central banker. He's evil or whatever. He's like... But Alan Greenspan only did what the people wanted. I met Ron Paul in 2002 at the Mises Institute in Auburn, Alabama. My wife and I traveled to the States for the 20th anniversary of the Mises Institute. I was really into the Austrian school back then, and I still am. And we decided to go there for the conference. And Ron Paul was speaking at the conference. It was like a long weekend. And I went up to Ron Paul. He was in one of the lectures, and I spoke to him and I said, what about Greenspan? What does he say about gold and economic freedom? And Ron Paul told me, well, he signed that for me. He said, he printed it out, and Alan Greenspan actually signed the essay that he wrote in 1967 or 66. And I said, what did he say to you? He said, and Ron Paul said, I asked him, Mario, I asked him, do you still believe in everything you wrote back in 1967? And he said, yeah, I believe every bit of it. And he said, so why are you chairman of the Federal Reserve? He said, well, I thought I could maybe help change things, but politics, the people and the politicians, they don't want change. They want to have the easy money. They want to have the government subsidies. They want to have bailouts. They want to have their pensions. They want to have the Medicare. They want, a cradle to grave government support. And that's what you get with statists. That's what you get under fiat money. So am I saying Greenspan is a good guy? Well, who am I to judge? But at least he wrote that essay about gold and economic freedom in 1960. I think it was 66. Here it's saying it's 1967. And I'll go over it a little bit about gold and economic freedom. And I think we could add now gold, crypto, and economic freedom. I think crypto is going to help. So that's what Alan Greenspan says. An almost hysterical antagonism toward the gold standard is one issue which unites statists of all persuasions. They seem to sense, perhaps, more clearly and subtly than many consistent defenders of laissez-faire that gold and economic freedom are inseparable, that the gold standard is an instrument of laissez-faire, and that each implies and requires the other. So laissez-faire means let it be in French, and it's a philosophy of letting people be, small government, non-interference, non-intervention, and letting the market do the work. Maybe only having government to protect people's property. Because if you protect the individual and people's property, what else have you got to do? And he goes on to say, in order to understand the source of their antagonism, it is necessary first to understand the specific role of gold in a free society. And this is what is really important about money, because a lot of people say, oh, money is the root of all evil, but there's a flip side to that. And this is what Alan Greenspan says. Money is the common denominator of all economic transactions in an advanced indirect exchange society, I add. It is that commodity which serves as a medium of exchange, is universally acceptable to all participants in an exchange economy as payment for their goods or services, and can therefore be used as a standard of market value and a store of value, i.e. a means of saving. And I continue. The existence of such a commodity is a precondition of a division of labor economy. That's what I was talking about, the advanced indirect exchange economy. And what that means is we don't have to all be subsistent farmers. We don't all have to struggle to make ends meet, like to produce everything we need. We can specialize and make things more efficient and easier for everyone. And that's what sound money does. If men do not have some commodity of objective value, which was generally acceptable as money, they would have to resort to primitive barter or be forced to live on self-sufficient farms and forego the inestimable advantages of specialization. If man had no means to store value, i.e. to save, neither long-range planning nor exchange would be possible. So that's why it's so important to have some money, and it's something we haven't had. Well, I would, some people would argue since 1914, but I would say also 1971. So how great is that? It was a great essay. And I'll go here to the end. I'm not going to go through it all. And it says, and this is the conclusion of Alan Greenspan, this is the shabby secret of the welfare statists' tirades against gold. Deficit spending is simply a scheme for the confiscation of wealth. And I'll stop there for a minute. And it's not only about the welfare state. We need to add the warfare state, the corporatist state. It's become even worse. It's not only the welfare state where people expect the governments to give them everything. And I'll go back to Frederick Bastiat, from the 19th century philosopher, who said that the state is a fiction by which everyone expects to live at the expense of everyone else. So I would add it's welfare, warfare, and corporatist state. Why corporatist state? Well, because governments are giving corporations a lot of help. They're bailing them out, and the people suffer. So, and he goes on to say, deficit spending, of course, is simply a scheme for the confiscation of wealth. Gold stands in the way of this insidious process. It stands as a protector of property rights. If one grasps this, one has no difficulty in understanding the statists' antagonism toward the gold standard. And I would maybe revise this now and say towards the gold standard and cryptocurrencies. Yes, of course, there's a lot of altcoins or out there which are going to end up endless. Which are going to end up worthless. But what's the difference? Well, there is a difference. Right now, fiat money is just printed out of thin air, no effort. The banks are able to lend it out, something they don't have. At least the cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin, Ethereum, people have to mine them. There's something behind it. So what's the difference? Same thing with gold. It's really difficult to find gold. I've watched gold, all the gold reality programs like Gold Rush, and it's not easy. So that's what I wanted to talk about. But it's all up to us. The reason the welfare state, the warfare state, the corporatist state has been able to keep going is because we buy into the propaganda. We need to be more self-sufficient, be more honest with ourselves, and live within our means. And try to be neither a borrower or a lender. I know it's difficult, but it's possible. So that's what I wanted to talk about. So gold, economic freedom, and maybe now we can add gold, cryptocurrencies, and economic freedom. So if you enjoyed this video, please like, share it, subscribe to my channel. And the other thing, if you're a subscriber already, and if you're going to subscribe, you need to press the little bell so you get notified of my videos, because apparently YouTube is not notifying subscribers anymore a lot of times. And you can also follow me on DTube, Steemit, and Twitter. And I wish you a great rest of the weekend. I know it's Sunday, but still got a little bit of time left. And I'll talk to you later. Bye.